All opinions expressed by the program participants are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinions of Upscale Love for You. The program participants' opinions are based on the information that they consider from their own knowledge. No expressions or accuracy is related to Upscale Love for You.
Don't understand. I'm very passionate about these conversations, but I don't feel like the men understand, or some of the men on our call understand, that we really want soft relationships. We do not want to be hard. We don't want to be aggressive. We don't want to do all of these things. We want to walk into our role as the support system to our man and also get some of that in return. So I'm gonna stop there.
Thank you. Thank you, Heather. Thank you for everybody for the input. Now it's time for Dr. Fabulous to take over. Go ahead.
Okay, good evening, good evening. Well, we were doing a whole different switcheroo tonight. We came forth with Dr. Feelgood, allowing the man to step up and be first. And then the time is now for Chocolate Pearl. I'm bringing up the rear tonight, Dr. Feelgood. I'm bringing up the rear. So, Dr.
No, you can
Chocolate
go
Pearl,
ahead.
are you ready?
You can go. You can go.
Okay. Well, all
Yeah.
right then. Well, I understand the role of a woman and a man. And as we say, sometimes we look at the way in which we were raised and how our family dynamics look, as far as if you were grown up in a two-family household, mom, dad. So I can relate because when I was younger, I always wanted, I'm going to get married. I'm going to have the picket fence, the dog, the station wagon. You saw that. That was what you wanted. Okay. But some people didn't have that. And the reason why I say we emulate what we see is because most of the time, when you see a mom and a dad in a great relationship, you grow up, you want to be that mom that have a great relationship as well. So I'm going to pose to the panel, if you saw more love and happiness and togetherness, do you think more relationships would be the same? Would it be, how you say, and a rollover or the same as, or do you feel that each relationship is just going to be what it's going to be? I was always taught, and I like the way Heather said it as well as Tasha, because I am definitely going to be my husband's helpmate, my friend's helpmate, because we know, as in the word of God, that the man is supposed to be the head of the household. So there you have it. If you know, and we're not speaking, I'm not saying this in a gender role per se, but what I'm saying is most women, regardless of how independent you are, how well your finances are, when you have a husband, as Robert would say, that stands up and be the man of the house, you're definitely going to follow. You're not going to rebel or fight against. It's more conducive as one unit when you have that man that's going to be there and stand up and be who they are supposed to be. Now, back to this girlfriend situation and going out. I love the thought that Robert said, regardless if you're a wife, a girlfriend, or whomever, you're definitely going to take a stance because we look for that man to be our protector. Because if I go out with a guy and he could not protect me, that will be the first and the last time that we ever went anywhere. I'm not looking for him to fight. I'm looking for him to step up and be the man that he's supposed to be, as far as taking me out, being that person that's going to be in charge. So with that being said, I'm going to open the floor to anyone that has input about a relationship being that solid relationship and allowing things to run as it should when it comes to a relationship. I see Anson has his. Tasha, Heather, was your hand still up? Did you want to make another comment, or were they up from previous conversations?
No, I definitely want to make a comment.
Okay, go ahead.
Sure. Some of the things you were just saying just now came across like the woman needs to be submissive, and I don't want to,
Oh no,
debate
not
your point, but it
submissive.
did come across that way. And to a point, yeah, there is some submission, right? That either partner is giving into a relationship and their partner. But I agree. Having some understanding, because I can kick some ass too. I take boxing classes, so of course, as much as I think I can, defend myself and my man. To be honest with you, I would be looking to my male partner, to figure out how are we going to handle this. How can I get your back and make sure that we're both not hurt or not hurt, like terribly. But yeah, we all need to feel that sense of protection. And I don't know if it's getting lost in translation with the gentlemen that are on the call about what that is supposed to be, depending on whatever our role is in that friendship or relationship. It's just even if that's a friend, you have to be in a relationship in order to figure out if she's worth protecting. Like these are the questions that came up in the conversation for me, and I'm sitting here like, if you made a connection with somebody and you're out and about with them, and a situation arises where she may not be able to contribute and ward off what's happening, you're going to say, well, I don't know you like that, like you're not worth protecting, and you better run. Like what do you do in those situations? I think the expectation, unfortunately, is for the man to step up and be able to protect in some type of form, whether it's talking the person down or whether it's putting paws on somebody. I don't know.
Well, thank you, Heather. Tasha, you got your hand up from now or previous?
Yes, I have it up. One of
Okay,
the
go ahead.
one of the examples that I wanted to state was I grew up and my mom was not a mother at all, but my stepdad was like the mom and the dad. And from watching him raise us, it was days that he would come in and plait my hair for school. I would be looking like a hot mess going to school. But the point is, he tried. He picked up the slack. He cooked, he cleaned, he did all of those things while she did her thing. And when she was ready to be that wife, she stepped in, she did her job, cooked, she cleaned, she took care of him. But then, it was like going backwards. But from that situation, it taught me some things that, as a woman now, this is this is what I have to do to be submissive. This is what I have to do to learn how to, make my husband grow, to allow him to, be the man of the house. I don't always like some of the things that he say or does, but I have to step back, let him figure it out. Even if he fail, I still have to support him. So I don't think like gender roles is a factor. I think you first have to be friends, you have to learn one another, then you have to trust and respect each other. And from there is where you can trust him to lead or trust her to lead, and then you will follow.
All right. Well, thank you, Tasha. That was great. Robert, come on. You got your hand up, and then I'm coming to answer.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to just kind of share some experiences that I've had that kind of I find it kind of strange. Now, I was brought up. My mother and father was married for 35 years. Um, we all lived in the same household. My father protected, provided, took care of us, and the children, my mother. So that's the only thing that I know. And I find it kind of hilarious that when I take women out, that they're not used to men opening up the door, men pulling out their chair, men paying the check. I find that, and I find that funny because as a man, that's something that's just innate in me. And I feel like when a man is a man and a man does what a man's supposed to do, being submissive is not a negative thing. It'll come as a man fulfills his role. If a man is doing what a man is supposed to do, then things will get in order the way that they're supposed to be. And I just feel like personally, really, that's why we have a lot of problems in the world today, especially when it comes to black men, because black men don't do some of the things that we are supposed to do. You know, and that's from raising our children, being role models for our children, and things of that nature, and just being men to our women.
Right. Well, thank you, Robert. What city and state are you located in?
I'm in Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh, okay. All right. My neck of the woods. Okay. All right then. Anson, you got your hand up?
I had my hand up since you was talking, but I wanted to piggyback off something you said, but uh, I think Tasha touched on it, like touched on the fact that I wanted to touch on, which is you were saying that how you expect or feel a man should act with a woman, right? And that leads me to what I was saying earlier, is that we always talk about what we want and what we desire and what we're not getting. But my question to you is,
To me personally?
well, yeah, to you, for
Okay.
everyone, is how are you supposed to go about getting that as a woman?
Well, I personally, when you meet someone, you know whether or not you connect. I don't believe in wasting time. If I meet someone and we don't have a general good connection or a good feel for one another, I'm not going to waste my time to try to prolong the time and try to make it happen. Because something, most of the times when you meet someone and you connect, it's good off the bat and you work toward building a relationship. But if you meet someone and it's not good, I just believe let it go because God has something better in store for you.
So now I'm glad you said that. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm glad your answer is your answer, and I accept your answer. But what I believe and how I feel is, like I said earlier, I said months ago, is that we men grow up knowing that we can't get what we want just because we want it. We know at a certain point that we have to, like, for example, what sense does it make for me to walk up to any woman and say, "You my girl now," without courting her? We're taught to court. We're taught to pitch woo and spit game, or however you want to call it. We learn that as we grow up from boy to men. So we learn how to get what we want by how we act. And what I've been saying for months now is that we sit here on this podcast, on this Zoom call, and we hear all the complaints, all the gripes, but not one solution on how to get what you want. That is why I asked that question. Because yeah, we understand that you want protection, you want provisions, and we as men understand that that's what we should be doing. But the question is, how do you go about getting that? You think it's supposed to just fall out the sky? You think it's supposed to
Oh,
just manifest? Hold up, you think it's supposed to just manifest and happen just because you look good? Like, that is what I think me and Douglas was saying earlier, is that you have to act a certain way to get what you want.
not necessarily, because you can be in the grocery store, because I had it happen to me. You could be in the grocery store, and if someone wants to get your attention, they'll walk up to you and say, "Hey, how you doing? What kind of vegetables are you buying?" Da 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 da. Make a short conversation that can lead into a lasting relationship. So it's not
Why didn't you say
necessarily
that earlier?
a
Why
certain
didn't you say that
way
earlier?
that you can get someone. It just I'm going to say if it happens, it happens. You never know the time or the hour when you're going to meet that special person. But when you do meet them and you have a connection, you know whether or not it's going to go somewhere. That's just like I always say, a man knows when he meet that woman what he's looking for in that relationship. Just like a woman, as they said, you can place them in the friend mode because if you're not really feeling them, but they're a nice person, it's nothing wrong with having a friend. But if you meet someone and you're feeling them, you want it to go to the next level. So that's the way I look at things. I don't know. I could walk out my door right now, go to the gas station and meet my prince on the white horse or whatever. It just happens. It happens. That's all I
Yeah,
got to say.
but
Douglas,
yeah,
your
that's
hand
what.
is
Well, hold
up. I'm
on
sorry.
before you move on. But just like that, right? You can go out to the grocery store, you can go out to the gas station, and you can meet your knight in shining armor.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that can happen. Just like I can go out somewhere and I could go to Fridays and then I could leave Fridays with somebody new.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't plan on going to Fridays leaving with a mate, but I could go to Fridays and meet with some leave with someone new. Yeah, things happen.
Mm-hmm.
Things can happen. But what I'm saying is that the chances of things happening is far and in between. So if you're looking to achieve something, then you have to act a certain way to get it. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, but you're saying you have to act a certain way. I'm not going to say you have to act a certain way if it's going to happen. And like I say, I don't believe in astrology or anything, but I just believe that if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. You don't have a say of what's going to happen. But if it does happen, that's when you know how to act or what you're going to give into that relationship. That's
But
what
what
I'm
I'm
saying.
saying is you relieve yourself all accountability if you have the mentality.
I relieve myself of the accountability.
Yes.
Is that what you just said?
Yes. That's what I just said.
Well, I agree to disagree. And we're going to move on to Douglas. Douglas, you saw that smooth
You know,
transition? That was smooth. And Douglas,
That was smooth reflection.
you know,
that was
Deflection.
smooth.
the
Smooth
esteemed
reflection.
chairperson of this show, I would like to give my time to brother. Let me stop. Oh, okay. A quick timeline that we have here is I'm 56. I was born in 66. Um, that back in the day, as we're gonna say, when men were men and women were women, things were all good. Then it seems that the government stepped in and hit with welfare. Because I remember what my aunt stating that so and so had the welfare lady came to the door and Junebug had to jump out the window because they were
You
getting
know,
they were getting support, and in order to keep getting support, no man had to be in the house. Thus began the separation of the black family and things like that. And then the civil rights movement came along, and feminism, and women became more than a teacher or a nurse or secretary. And then Destiny Child and all these others like Don't Want No Scrub, um, and, and all that. So here we are today. And what I tell my son and other people is like, okay, we're here today. You and the person that you're with, you need to sit down and discuss what type of relationship you want. I'm kind of old school. I have, like I keep saying, I have my foundational base. I guess I'm gonna say gender roles. Men do certain things, women do certain things. That's where I start. But in a new relationship, that is up for discussion. Be like, okay. And what I tell a lot of young people about what are your unspoken expectations when it comes to relationships? Because automatically we stated tonight that everyone believes that a man should do certain things with providing protection and anything when he's around a woman. That's true. I believe that too. But now I have a slight sliding scale because I know what I need to do as a husband. The period from singleness to married, I'm finding out a whole new stuff how women flow nowadays. My expectations of a woman today doesn't coincide with how women are thinking today. So that requires some adjustment on my part. But I like chivalry. I've taken women on dates and I'm open the door for them. We pull up to wherever we're going and they jump out the car. And I look at them. I got one now that keeps forgetting. She said, "Oh, I got to get back in the car so you can open the door." I'm like, "Yeah, let me do me." But it all
You
comes
say you
back
got your one.
to,
You
well,
say you
no,
got your one and she jumped back in the car.
we just friends. We're friends.
Okay.
But
Oh.
yeah, let me open the door. And it's funny, but my great nephew, he likes to open the door for his grandma. Because he said, well, that's what Uncle Didi does. So I'm like, thumbs up, bro. My daughter, when we ride together, she stands at the door, waiting for me to open the door for
And you should.
her. She'll jump out in the summertime because she like, "Daddy, with your knees, the car too hot. The car heat up before you get to the other side." I was like, "Okay, you go ahead and do that." But what I'm saying, how do we move on from where we are now? When you get with somebody, if y'all have an attraction, you need to sit down and say, "Hey, this is how I was raised." Um, I was raised single parent with two older sisters, mom and grandma. So all my life, the women did most of the work. And even when I got married, I married a semi-country girl. When we was at our house, I had to fix my own plate. But when we went down to her mom's house, the men just sat at the table, and the women folk fed us. I like that.
All right. Well, good hearing that,
but yeah, stuff like
Ricky.
that. Today,
And
you got to discuss what you want.
all right. And you have to tell a person what you want, because I don't think many people can read minds. Because if they did, they'll know those lottery numbers.
Right, but you have your basic expectations. If you with a man, what we stated,
Okay.
y'all have your expectations that need to be stated.
Okay. I don't know what happened.
I'm
Your
here.
hand was up, Ricky. You all took it down.
No, I'm here.
Hello.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, go ahead.
Douglas, I agree. People need to have discussions about what they want in a relationship. However, I'm just gonna go a little back what you said. You said, I don't know, you talk about the welfare system and breaking up the Black family or whatever. My whole thing is that my perspective of the whole welfare system, right, is that it actually gave Black men an opportunity, even though it did take the Black men to better themselves so that there would be no welfare. What did y'all do with that opportunity with the welfare system? Because y'all had no responsibilities. The government was taking care of us women. So what were y'all doing with all of this extra lack of responsibilities during the welfare time? Nobody ever discusses that. And it's always like we're being punished because we better ourselves and we have money now and we can work and we're supposed to feel bad or make you feel some type of way because you don't make as much money. Why are you dating women that make more than you to make you feel less than? Date women on your level. Woo! You won't have these type of issues. It's really just so simple.
Well, I would say, can you slow down? Because it seems like you're heaving and you're breathing because it's real passionate for you.
I'm a smell.
That's a good question. That I've seen, I haven't seen like the male point of view. It's just the topic was destruction of the Black family in America, and those were the points that I pulled out from that. But that's a good question. What were the men doing during that time period. But yeah, it's good that like I stated earlier that women can do the things they do today and not suppress. But what I was talking about earlier with a little humbleness, you got a lot of look. These are the women who are. I'm a strong, independent black woman. I'm a bad bee. I don't need no man. That small category of women that are the loudest. As you know, the squeaky wheel gets the oil. And that's what
Okay. Well,
come
I
up.
appreciate your thoughts, Douglas. And is it Nakia? How do you pronounce your name? I'll say Ricky and okay. Well, thank you.
It's
Thank you.
Niqua, like
Niqua.
Shaniqua.
Okay.
Nequa.
Niqua. Okay.
Yeah, Niqua.
Thank
It's
you.
like she just took the shirt off.
Okay, gotcha, Niqua. Well, I haven't heard from Tracy D tonight. I would love to hear your input quickly. And of course, I'm gonna come to you, Dream. So get your mind going and Dream. Got to hear a little something from you. So Tracy D, give me your thoughts. I need to hear what you're thinking about this thing tonight about the independent Black woman, and do we still need a man to provide and protect? I need that from you, Tracy D. Are you eating popcorn?
No, I'm not eating popcorn.
Hey, all right.
I'm glad you came back to this because it was a bunch of different anyway. So I want to just
You was confused.
oh
you
my
was
God, I was like, where are we going?
completely off. I know.
But okay. So so I think people take this out of context, at least from my perspective. Me saying I don't need a man means to me that I don't need him to help me find my happiness because I can make myself happy. I don't need him to feel like I finally arrived because I want to come to him in a position that I've already arrived at. I don't need him to feel so that I can feel a sense of achievement. And I don't need him to save me. That's what I mean from my side. Of course I need a man because how else am I going to have babies and things like that? So I think when I'm with a man, he absolutely must protect me. Absolutely. Like even when people ask me out on dates, the first question I ask, am I going to be safe? Can you protect me? So that's a given. But I just wanted to clear up the whole concept of I don't need a man. We automatically go to money and materialistic things, and it's not that for me. Women sometimes come to men broken, and they go to men. Oh, once I get with this guy, I'm gonna be happy. Oh, I'm gonna have his kids and he's gonna stay. I don't need any of that. And that's what I mean by I don't need a man piece of it. So there's my 2 cents.
Okay. Thank you so much, Tracy D. And Andreen, I see you. I see you. Bring it on, Andreen. I have to hear just a little smidget from Andreen. You got to take your speak, unmute. You're muted.
Sorry.
There you go.
On this topic, I actually think this is a stereotypical thing. I don't think a majority of women are going around feeling like they don't need a man or even making that statement. I think it's something like Douglas said, the loudest, and kind of like the majority of loudest women are maybe articulating that, and it's just getting the most airplay because they do tend to over analyze, or definitely to over, to the negative stuff is always the thing that they highlight. So I think for the most part, I think women want men to be provider. I think we were forced into a position because for whatever reasons, and I think there's a multitude of reasons within this society here, that men did not step up to the plate, or maybe they could not step up to the plate. So women had no choice, no options but to take charge and do what they needed to do. And in that sense, I think that's where this thing comes from. This, I don't need a man. I don't think, for the most part, I don't think any women, or I don't think the majority of women, even if they make that statement, I don't think they truly mean it. And I think a lot of things where it's a lot of songs where you hear about it, it's getting a lot of airplay, but I feel like I want to be taken care of. And I want a man to protect and provide. So I feel like as a woman, you stand up and do what you need to do. And I think that's where that whole stereotypical independent women thing come from, because even the men have been exposed to those types of women because it wasn't by choice. It was more by force.
Force.
And
Okay.
you do what you need to do. But I don't necessarily think this is a thing. And I
Oh,
think the whole gender roles piece, I hear what they're saying, and I definitely think I have difficulty with that, as far as like remembering to let them open the door. And I think that's because unfortunately we chose men, or we saw men that didn't do it. So I don't think that speaks to someone wanting to be independent or not wanting you to be a man. It's them having to adjust to probably treatment that they should always have expected or gotten that they didn't. So that's why it's like they're gonna hop out the car, like I can honestly say I would probably do, because that's not something that unfortunately that I saw per se growing up, or I experienced in my marriage. So I just feel like a lot of this is a lot of negativity that's always pushed on the Black community, and I just get nervous because we are embracing these stereotypes that I don't think are necessarily true.
all right. Well, thank you, Andrine. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. And Patrick, your hand is up. You were a little quiet tonight. I was waiting for you to sizzle.
Okay, my
So,
my hand
Patrick.
was up before Patrick's, and
Oh,
I
I'm
just wanted to
sorry.
just say something real quick on what Andrine said. Um, I like what you did
I
say
didn't see your hand.
about the cannot. I'm sorry. I'm not feeling too good today, so my brain is not working.
Gotcha.
But when it comes down to what you said, Andrea, I truly agree with you on that. However, we as women have to realize that it shouldn't even be a however. I like the fact that you're saying that you want to be protected, you want to be supported, you want to, all that good stuff. That is true. But once there are people who are turning into independent people, because in a sense in society today we were kind of trained that way. When And I'm not stereotyping and I'm not bashing, when a man falls flat or falls short, us women tend to step in. Sometimes we step in without allowing them to try to redeem themselves.
True.
But we step in, and then it becomes we're always stepping in. And before you can even give anybody a chance to say, okay, no, I got this, we don't give them a chance. So it build up to, I'm going to do it myself anyway, and I don't need a man. So that's where a lot of that stereotypical issues come, that we have gotten to the society today that unfortunately there are a lot of women and a lot of single mothers who have to step in as mother and father, husband and wife type situation, to where society sees it in that manner, to where we have so many alpha women, we have so many women who are acting masculine, we have so many women who are doing things that yes, a man should do, but we got so used to not allowing or not stepping back and saying they're going to protect me, they're going to do this for me. We step in and intervene, which puts that man in the back row. So now they were never taught to open up a door for a woman. They were never taught to, oh, I don't want to go Dutch, I'm going to pay because I am the man type thing. Or, those things that our ancestors kind of brought themselves up and hoping that they'll get to this point. But obviously it was cut off at a certain point, because we did not, once the male fell flat or fell short, we stepped in and we never allowed them to redeem themselves. So this is where we come to that point where, oh, well, I don't need a man. No, you need a man for every aspect of your life, because that's how God wanted it to be. For that man to be your provider, the head of that house. the person. Now, granted, you can still be an independent person. You can still be yourself if you work together with each other, and it's about communication. Communication is the key of everything. So when you put off of what you're going to say, you know, how a relationship's going to be, what you don't like and what you do like, and you get together and you do it as a whole, then you won't have to worry about who's going to be head, who's going to do this, and who's, you know, if chivalry is still there. This is the issue. We don't communicate, period. And I know I probably sounded crazy, but I did have a point. But like I said, my brain's not working. But
You
hopefully
don't sound crazy.
y'all understood what I was trying to say.
We
did.
got you. You didn't take us around the world and back in 365 days. We
Thank
got
you.
you. Patrick, come on. Give it to us, Patrick. It's rolling up to 10 p.m. and we're trying to get out of here tonight at 10. So, Patrick, give me what you got.
Okay, so hello everyone. First of all, I'm just asking
Hello.
that I can finish my comment. Okay,
Mhm.
now please finish my comment after So, my opinion is a lot of we talk about relationship. A lot of married women and women in long-term relationships are giving their opinion about women don't need men and stuff like that, but that's because they're not out in the dating world. They're not out here meeting men because you have your significant other. But as a man who out not out here seeking someone, but are dating, I run into women that have said, I don't need a man. And I have asked them, say, what do you mean? Please explain to me, what do you mean you don't need a man? And a lot of them, they talk about material things. They talk about money. They talk about, their background. They talk about what they had to go through. But my understanding, and it was said before, women was created for men. And
Yes,
man,
because we was made from the ribs.
right,
We got you.
correct, created for men. So I don't know where we got off track to say that women saying they don't need men, because men definitely need women. James Brown made a song about that. We need each other, something like that. So I'm just confused about where that came in, what generation started that, because I remember when Big Mama them was saying, you better keep that man that you got, because a half a loaf of bread was better than none at all. But all of a
I
sudden
know
now,
I was confusing, Patrick, but I kind of said that in what I was stating, that this newer generation is where that's coming from. It got caught to when there was a man that failed, women decided to step in. The baby booming era is when that occurred.
yeah, but I totally agree with you, Chocolate. But it needs to go back to the old way, because we need each other, guys. Especially Black love, Black family. We are under attack, and we need each other more than anything else. That's all I gotta say.
Well, thank you so much, Patrick, for sharing. Thank you, everyone, for taking time out on this Thursday evening. I want to say a special thank you to Tasha. Tasha done gave them children some Benadryl, put them to sleep. I'm
No,
so
I did.
proud of you, Tasha.
I got one right here.
One time for Tasha, but everyone, I thank you all so much for coming on tonight, and to Heather, Tracy, everyone, the whole crew, because we wouldn't have Tantalizing Talk if we didn't have you. To my co-host, Dr. Feelgood, I love it. That man took charge. He stepped out first and foremost. To Chocolate Pearl, she kind of just pushed it on tonight because she keep telling me her brain not working, but you gonna get okay, Chocolate Pearl. And don't forget, October 29th, those of you who are not coming, please think about coming, because we're going to have a wonderful time. I'm going to let the cat out the bag. We're going to have a little newlywed game. We're going to have a little dating game. We're going to do it all. We're going to have a good time, good old wholesome fun. So if you live an hour, 2 hours away, come on and drive down. If you live 6 or 7 hours away, come on and catch a flight. So with that being said, Dr. Feelgood, do you have anything else you would like to say? You put both of your little handsome pictures up. You done stepped off. Do you have anything else you would like to say to us before we close out?
I want to thank each and every one of y'all for coming on tonight. It's a great, this was an interesting show. We hopefully everybody got something out of it. I think everybody contributed well, and that's all I got, Dr. Fab.
All right, Chocolate Pearl, you sitting over there looking pretty in pink, representing October Cancer Month. You have anything you would like to say before we close out?
No, just want y'all to wear your pink throughout the month if you can, to represent Breast Cancer Month, and think of, I'm a survivor. I fought and I won. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah.
All right then. Well, I'm going to say good night, and y'all know what my sign off is. Smooches.
Smooches.
Good night. Cut us out, Dr. Feelgood.